Hi, how are you?
I'm really good, and you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Um, we've been working more on fundraising.
Right.
We've had youth groups come in because they're organising events for us to raise money, which is great. Um, and we're also looking to collaborate with local schools as well to work on fundraising with them. So it's mainly been about that this week.
So, this week we're going to be talking about business plans and funding and, the recession. So, let's start off with funding. A lot of people who are watching this will wonder how a charity such as yourself, do you have any cash reserves and how are you getting your funding? So, if you could elaborate a little more on that, it would be great.
Okay. Well, we actually operate on a very low budget because all of the food that we hand out, we actually get free from a local supermarket and also from Eat and Greg's and a local sandwich shop called the Sandwich Man. So, I mean, all our food we get for free, which is very helpful. And then in terms of money, I mean, it does cost a lot to run a charity, and ideally we'd like a bigger budget, but for just now, because I mean, 4 years might sound like a long time, but some charities, they've been up and running for decades. So
Yeah.
4 years is very new. So it's very difficult to actually get the funding to be able to give someone a salary to do the job. So that's
Yeah.
why we're run on volunteers. So I'd say we mainly source our funding from individuals who'd like to fundraise for us and from other groups like community groups and schools. We recently had a school who did a dance-off event for us, and that raised £620 just
Oh,
from one
excellent.
advert. And then because we operate on such a low budget and we're so small, the £620 can go so far. I mean, that pays for nearly two complete literacy courses. Also had people running, last year we had a guy running the Berlin Marathon for us. So that raised a lot of money. And
In rhythms of life, do you feel that a business plan has helped you? And what have you learned? What from your experience in drafting out your business plan and updating it and following your business plan?
I would say a business plan is absolutely crucial.
Hmm.
Um, we run two main projects, and that's actually, we've been reining ourselves in because we decided we'd rather just do two projects and do them really, really well. And in order to do them really well, you need to know exactly what you're doing, what your budget is, when you're going to do that. So you really do need a plan. Um, and so that's what I've been doing recently, writing up the plans for the two projects and also a secondary plan on how to achieve, success in those projects. First of all, you have to decide, well, because we're a charity, who are we going to help in this project? What exactly are we going to do? And you have to be very precise with that, timings, dates, how many sessions, and where. And for us, I mean, we need to make sure there's actually a need for what we're doing. It's all very well having good intentions.
Yeah.
There's someone just down the road doing exactly the same thing. They're a really established organisation, and there's not necessarily a need for that, whatever we want to offer,
Yeah.
in which case it's a lot of time and effort gone into something that you're not going to get very much out of.
Yeah.
So you really need to make sure there's a need for what you're doing. And yeah, I would say start off small. So we're doing just the two projects now, because you don't want to bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that each thing you do, you're doing it really, really well before you can start thinking about doing something else, really.
And what about the recession? With the whole recent recession, has that impacted your business?
Just in these past couple of years, we've seen several grant schemes just disappear altogether, just don't exist anymore. And that's just more pathways that have been closed off for funding.
Right.
Just makes our job a little bit more difficult. And it means that the grant schemes that do still exist are being a lot more, there's a lot more people applying to them. So it's a lot more competitive and difficult to get this money.
Yeah.
And also in terms of individual donations, I guess, big charities, they can afford to pay for big marketing schemes, adverts on the trains and on TV and things, but we just don't have the funds for that. And so whereas the big charities, they may still be getting a lot of donations in, but for us, I mean, we've really struggled because I've had people who are saying they will donate like on a monthly kind of payroll kind of way, but because of the recession, they just haven't been able to do it. And then just in terms of rent, I would say, I mean, there's a recession, but the renting prices don't reflect that.
Yeah.
So whilst it's difficult for us to get funding, we have to pay the same amount of rent. So that just makes things so much more difficult. And I mean, we've recently moved out of our previous offices because of that. I mean, we're very lucky that we've now ended up in this nice office, but I mean, that was luck and through generosity of the people running the buildings and things.
Very much, and it's been lovely talking to you. And
Thank
bye.
you.